He is back, and I think we should get divorced, my wife said after a 7-hour airport pickup, so I told her I refused to be anyone's backup plan, and she still doesn't know the next call I made wasn't to save our marriage. It was to end it. I am Morin 30, 4M, insurance adjuster here in Portland, been married to my wife Claire 31F for 7 years. She manages an art gallery downtown. I handle property damage claims. Pretty normal suburban life. Nice house in Beaverton, 2 cars, talking about kids soon. All that, yesterday started like any other Thursday. I was at work reviewing a flood damage claim when Claire calls me around 2 p.m. Sounding different, excited, maybe nervous. Hard to describe, but definitely not normal. I need to go pick someone up from the airport, she said. Old friend from high school. I might be late getting home. No big deal. She occasionally reconnects with people from back in Seattle, and PDX runs late sometimes anyway. Told her to drive safe and I would grab dinner if she wasn't back by 7. Here is where it gets weird. Claire left at 3 p.m. to pick up this old friend. Portland International is maybe 40 minutes from our house, hour tops with traffic. Even if the flight was delayed, she should have been home by 6 or 7. She didn't get home until after 10 p.m. when she walked in. Something was completely different about her. She looked, I don't know how to explain it, like she had been crying, but also like she was seeing clearly for the first time in years. Just standing in our living room staring at me with this expression I had never seen before. How was your friend's flight? I asked. She sat down on the couch, not next to me but across from me. Morin, we need to talk. My stomach dropped. In 7 years of marriage, she had never started a conversation that way. He is back, she said, and I think we should get divorced. I just stared at her. What? We should get divorced. This isn't fair to either of us anymore. What isn't fair? Who is? He, Claire? What happened at the airport? She wouldn't explain. Kept saying things like, I need time to think, and this changes everything, and you deserve better than this. When I pressed her for details about who this friend was and what exactly happened during those 7 hours, she just shut down. I cannot explain it right now, Morin. I just know that seeing him again made me realize something important about us. About us, Claire. We have been married for 7 years. We have a mortgage. We are planning a family. We just booked that trip to Italy for our anniversary. What could possibly happen in one afternoon that changes all of that? I am sorry. I know this is sudden, but I cannot pretend anymore. Pretend what? Pretend to love me. Pretend our marriage is real. She wouldn't elaborate. She packed a bag and went to stay at her sister's place. Left me sitting in our living room, completely blindsided, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. I keep replaying the conversation, looking for clues I missed. She seemed relieved, like she had been carrying some burden and finally set it down. But what burden? Our marriage has been good, hasn't it? We don't fight much. We enjoy each other's company. We have similar goals for the future. Or at least I thought we did. My buddy James thinks this is some kind of midlife crisis thing. Maybe she is just freaking out about turning 31, he said. People do weird shit when they start thinking about getting older. But this felt different than a crisis. This felt like a decision she had already made before she even walked through the door. I tried calling her yesterday, and today she is not answering. Her sister Amy picked up once and said Claire needs space to figure things out, but wouldn't tell me anything else. So now I am sitting in our house, surrounded by 7 years of shared memories, trying to understand how an airport pickup destroyed my marriage in a single afternoon. Has anyone else dealt with something like this, where your spouse comes home one day and just decides it is over? Without explanation, without trying to work through whatever the problem is? I don't even know what I am supposed to do now. Do I wait for her to come home and explain? Do I demand answers? Do I start calling lawyers? All I know is that 24 hours ago I had a wife and a marriage, and now I have neither. And I still don't understand why. Fade it. Faye, reading through these comments, and a lot of you are asking about the he she mentioned. I honestly have no idea who she was picking up. In the 7 years we have been together, she has never mentioned anyone from high school that would cause this kind of reaction. Fade it 2 ***. Some people are suggesting she has been having an affair. I don't think that is it. This felt more like seeing this person triggered some realization, not like she has been sneaking around. But honestly, I don't know anything for sure anymore.
Feud 3 ***. To those saying I should go through her things looking for clues. Yeah, I am considering it. Part of me feels like that is violating her privacy. But another part of me thinks I deserve to know why my marriage just imploded. Number Faye update. 1 ***. I found out who Claire picked up at the airport, and suddenly, our entire 7-year marriage makes a lot more sense. In the worst possible way. First, thanks for all the comments on my original post. The advice about looking for clues was spot on, even though it led me to some painful realizations. After 3 days of Claire not returning my calls, I started going through some of her things. Not to be sneaky, but because I needed to understand what the hell was happening to my life. Started with her old photo albums from before we got together. Found what I was looking for in a box in our closet. High school yearbooks. Photo albums from her senior year. Stuff she would brought with her when we moved in together, but never really looked at. There he was. Ryan Kellerman, in dozens of photos with Claire from 2009-2010. Prom pictures, graduation photos, candid shots of them looking at each other like they were the only two people in the world. The kind of photos where you can actually see the love, you know? I had never seen these pictures before. In 7 years of marriage, Claire had never once shown me photos from high school or talked about dating anyone seriously before college. Did some Facebook detective work. Found Ryan's profile, military photos. Recently discharged from the army. Been deployed overseas for most of the last decade. His profile shows him moving back to Portland about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, right around the time Claire started acting distant and distracted. I also found some letters in the bottom of the photo box. Love letters from Ryan, dated right after graduation, talking about missing her while he was in basic training, promises to come back for her, plans for their future together. The kind of letters you keep when someone means everything to you. Letters that end abruptly. No explanations, no goodbyes. Just nothing after August 2010. Looking at those photos and reading those letters, I finally understood something that had been bothering me for years. Claire has always been emotionally distant, not cold exactly, but like there was some part of herself she kept locked away. I thought it was just her personality. Some people are more reserved, right? Wrong. Looking at these high school photos, I can see a version of Claire I have never met. Someone who was completely, openly, desperately in love. Someone who didn't hold anything back. That person never existed in our relationship. Not once in 7 years have I seen Claire look at me the way she is looking at Ryan in these pictures. I called in sick to work Thursday and drove to Claire's sister's apartment. Amy answered the door, took one look at my face and said, "She told you about Ryan." She didn't tell me anything about Ryan. I had to figure it out myself. Amy looked genuinely surprised. She didn't explain about him being her first love, about how devastated she was when he left for the military. She came home, said, "He is back," and asked for a divorce. That was the entire explanation. We talked for about an hour. Amy filled in the gaps Claire had left. Ryan and Claire were high school sweethearts, together for 2 years, made plans to get married after he finished his military service. But something happened during his first deployment. Communication broke down, letters stopped coming, phone calls became impossible. Claire thought he had moved on or maybe even died in combat. She spent her early 20s convinced she had lost the love of her life, went through college and her first few jobs in this fog of grief, unable to really connect with anyone. Then she met me at a work conference in 2016. Safe, stable, kind Morin, who made her laugh and didn't trigger any of her abandonment fears. We built something comfortable and secure. But according to Amy, Claire never really got over Ryan. She just learned to live with the loss. She married you because she thought Ryan was gone forever, Amy said. She convinced herself that what you two had was enough. Enough? Not love. Not passion. Not choosing me because she wanted me enough. And now he is back, I said. And now he is back. And she realizes she never actually processed losing him the first time. I asked Amy if Claire wanted to work things out, if there was any chance of saving our marriage. Amy's exact words: "Morin, Claire has been sleepwalking through your marriage for 7 years. Seeing Ryan again woke her up. I don't think she is capable of going back to sleep." Drove home in a daze. Saturday in our living room, looking at all the pictures of Claire and me on the walls, trying to spot the signs I had missed, that she was never really present,
Never really mine. They were there. 7 years of subtle emotional distance I had attributed to personality differences. I have been her consolation prize this entire time, her safe backup plan while she mourned someone else. The worst part, I don't even think she did it maliciously. I think she genuinely tried to love me the way I loved her. But you cannot force feelings that aren't there. Claire finally called yesterday. Wants to meet for coffee this weekend to talk things through? Said she owes me an explanation. Yeah, she does. Number Faye update 2. ***. Had the coffee meeting with Claire last Saturday. What she told me was somehow both better and worse than what I had been imagining. She showed up looking like she hadn't slept in weeks. Started by apologizing for how she had handled everything. Said she knew the sudden divorce request was unfair and confusing. Then she told me about Ryan. They were each other's first love. Planned to get married when he finished his service. But during his second deployment, his unit got hit by an IED. He survived, but spent 18 months in military hospitals dealing with traumatic brain injury and PTSD. Lost the ability to communicate clearly for almost a year. Meanwhile, Claire's letters were going unanswered. The military couldn't give her information about his condition due to privacy rules. She eventually assumed he would either died or decided he didn't want to continue their relationship. I thought I had lost him forever. Morin. I grieved for him like he was dead. When we met at that work conference in 2016, she was finally ready to try dating again. You were everything Ryan wasn't, she said. Safe, stable, present. You weren't going to disappear on me. Safe. There is that word again. But I did love you, she insisted. Maybe not the same way I loved Ryan, but I loved you. You made me feel secure and cared for. That meant something. Past tense, loved, meant. She explained that Ryan had been trying to find her for years but had the wrong last name. She had taken mine when we married. When he finally tracked her down 2 weeks ago and called, she was shocked he was alive, let alone looking for her. I went to the airport just to see him, to get closure. I thought seeing him again would help me put that part of my life to rest. But it didn't. It didn't. She told me that the moment she saw Ryan at baggage claim, she realized she would never actually gotten over him. That everything she had built with me was constructed on top of unresolved grief. It is not fair to you. Morin. You deserve someone who chooses you first, not someone who settled for you because she thought her first choice was gone. At least she was being honest. But then she said something that gave me hope. I want to try to work things out. Ryan is. He is not the same person he was in high school. The military, the injury, everything he has been through. He is dealing with a lot. And what we had was 10 years ago. She suggested counseling. Said she wanted to fight for our marriage, that she had made vows and intended to keep them. I agreed to try couples therapy, made an appointment for this week. But here is where everything went sideways again. Tuesday night. I came home from work early because I had a migraine. Claire's car was in the driveway, but she was on the phone in the backyard, talking pretty loud. Probably didn't realize how clearly her voice carried through our kitchen window. I heard my name, so I stopped to listen. I know. But James, I cannot keep lying to myself. Seeing Ryan again made me realize I have been living someone else's life for 7 years. James, her friend from the gallery. Morin is a good guy. He really is. But being with Ryan again, God, I forgot what it felt like to be actually alive. To feel like myself instead of this watered-down version I created to fit into a suburban life I never actually wanted. My stomach dropped. The counseling thing is just, I don't know. I feel like I owe it to Morin to try. But how do you go back to settling for comfortable when you have remembered what passion feels like? Settling. There it was again. Ryan's leaving for a photography job in Colorado next month. Part of me wants to just follow him, start over completely. But then I think about Morin and how devastated he will be, and I feel awful. She felt awful. About leaving me, not about spending the last 2 weeks emotionally cheating while pretending to work on our marriage. I went back to my car and sat in a parking lot for 3 hours, processing what I had heard. She is not trying to save our marriage. She is managing her guilt while she figures out whether to follow Ryan to Colorado. The worst part is that she is probably right. We did settle for comfortable, but I settled because I loved her and thought she loved me back. She settled because her first choice wasn't available. There is a difference between building something together and building something while waiting for something better. James called Thursday night while Claire was out. He didn't know I would overheard anything, just wanted to check how I was handling everything. "You are a good guy, Morin," he said. "Whatever happens, don't let this make you think you are not enough for someone. But here is the thing, I was enough for Claire. I was enough to be a placeholder until her real choice came back. I just don't want to be anyone's placeholder anymore. Cancelled the therapy appointment. I think I already know everything I need to know. Number Faye final update Faye it is over. Filed for divorce yesterday, and Claire's reaction told me everything I needed to know about how little she actually knows me. After overhearing that phone conversation about her settling for comfortable and wanting to follow Ryan to Colorado, I spent a week doing research, talked to a divorce attorney, got my finances in order, figured out the legal process. Oregon's a no-fault divorce state, which means I don't have to prove Claire did anything wrong, just that our marriage is irretrievably broken. Given that she came home asking for divorce 5 weeks ago, that shouldn't be hard to establish. Last Friday, I asked Claire to meet me for dinner. Neutral location, nothing fancy. I had papers in my car. Started by telling her I had been thinking about everything she had said at our coffee meeting, about how I deserved someone who chose me first, about how unfair it was for her to stay married while mourning someone else. "I think you are right," I said. "About all of it." She looked relieved. "So you are open to counseling, to working through this together?" I am open to divorce. The look on her face was priceless. Complete shock, like she couldn't believe the words coming out of my mouth. "Morin, what? I thought we agreed to try therapy." "You agreed to therapy. I agreed to think about it, and I have thought about it." I explained that I had realized something important. She was right that I deserved someone who chose me first, and that person wasn't her, and never had been. "I have been your consolation prize for 7 years, Claire. I was never your first choice, just your available choice, and I am done with that." She tried to argue, said she had been honest about wanting to work on things, because last Tuesday I heard you tell James that being with Ryan made you feel alive again, and that you wanted to follow him to Colorado." Her face went white. "You were listening to my phone calls? You were having them in our backyard. But that is not the point. The point is that even while you are telling me you want to save our marriage, you are telling your friends you are settling for comfortable." She stammered for a few minutes, trying to explain that the conversation with James was just her processing feelings and didn't reflect her actual intentions. "Maybe, but it reflects your actual feelings. And those feelings are that I am the safe choice while Ryan is the choice that makes you feel like yourself." I pulled out the divorce papers. "I am filing for divorce. You can contest it if you want, but I think we both know this marriage has been over since the airport pickup." That is when she really lost it. Started crying, saying she couldn't believe I was giving up on us without even trying counseling. "Claire, you gave up on us when you married me while you were in love with someone else. I am just making it official." She asked what she was supposed to do now, where she was supposed to go. "I don't know. Maybe Colorado." The crying turned angry. "You know what? Fine, you are right. I did settle for you. You want to know the truth? You were never Ryan. You were never going to be Ryan. But I tried to love you anyway, I know. And I appreciate that you tried. But trying to love someone isn't the same as actually loving them. So that is it. 7 years, and you are just going to throw it away." "I am not throwing anything away, Claire. There is nothing to throw away. You checked out of this marriage years ago. You just never told me." I left her at the restaurant and went home to an empty house. Felt more peaceful than I had in weeks. She came by Sunday to get more of her things. Still couldn't believe I was being so cold about everything. "Morin, we built a life together. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It means everything to me. That is why I cannot keep living a lie." Found out Monday that she had already given notice at the gallery. Ryan's photography job in Colorado apparently came with an offer for her to help run the business side. Funny how quickly she made that decision after spending weeks telling me she wanted to work on our marriage. "James called yesterday to check on me," said Claire was shocked. I had a backbone. Apparently she had told all their mutual friends I was a pushover who would never actually follow through with divorce. "She thought you would wait around while she figured out whether she wanted Ryan or stability," he said. "Never occurred to her you might choose neither." Yeah, well, people underestimate the power of self-respect, I guess. The house is too big for just me, but I am not making any major decisions right now. Focusing on work, spending time with my sister Diane, rediscovering what it feels like to not be someone's backup plan. Diane said something last weekend that stuck with me. You spent 7 years being the best husband you could be to someone who was never really your wife. Maybe now you can figure out what kind of life you actually want, instead of the one you thought you were supposed to want. She is right. I built my entire adult life around making Claire happy, never stopping to ask if she was actually capable of being happy with me. Ryan and Claire are apparently very happy together in Colorado. Good for them. They get their second chance at first love. I get my first chance at being someone's first choice, even if that someone turns out to be myself. Fade it. 1. ***. For everyone asking about the financial stuff, we didn't have kids, kept our finances mostly separate, and Oregon's an equitable distribution state. The house was in both our names, but I put down the down payment, so I will probably buy out her half. Not complicated, just paperwork. Fed it 2. ***. Some people are asking if I regret not fighting harder for the marriage. Honestly, you cannot fight for something that never really existed. Claire was married to the idea of stability, not to me as a person. That is not a marriage worth saving. Fed it 3 ***. To the people saying I should have tried to win her back from Ryan. Why would I want to win someone who doesn't want to be with me? That is not love, that is possession. She made her choice the moment she saw him at the airport. I just finally accepted it. Fade it 4 ***. Got the final divorce decree in the mail today. 7 years, officially over. Feels like closing a book I should have put down years ago. Starting therapy next week to figure out how I missed so many signs that I was living someone else's idea of my life. Jane was right. Claire thought I would wait around indefinitely while she decided between security and passion. But here is what she didn't understand. Once someone shows you that you are their backup plan, staying becomes a choice to accept that role. I chose differently. Funny thing about being left for a ghost, you realize you have been haunting your own life. Time to start living for real.